Welcome back to A Closer Look. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Linda Fontaine, and my guest this hour is Diana Harshbarger. She is the Republican candidate for District 1, running for Congress here in Northeast Tennessee. Thank you for coming to the show today, Diana.
Hey, thank you, Linda. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, thank you. Let's get started. So if you are elected, what do you see as a priority in our area to get started on? What do you see as the first thing you need to jump on, or what are some of the biggest concerns?
Well, the first thing we need to do is get our economy back opened up, and that's imperative for small businesses. You know, we were chatting before how a lot of the local businesses have already shuttered their doors, and we can't continue this way. You know, I was listening to statistics from Dr. Rowe the other day, and he was on a call with Ben Carson and talking about education and the decrease in learning and everything, but he also looked at the decrease in GDP over a century. And when you go down by 1.5%, that's utterly, that's mind-boggling. Getting our economy back up and running, but my thoughts for the first district, I would love to bring scaled economic development to this region where we have a pipeline of employees who are work ready, so we can induce these companies to come and say, hey, take a look at East Tennessee, because economic development shouldn't stop at Knoxville. We have so much to offer with two different industries, and having that workforce up and ready to go to fill those jobs, that's how you attract high-paying jobs. That's how you attract companies who take a second look at East Tennessee. And that's one of the goals for this district, is to make it a model district for the rest of the state and the rest of the country.
Well, what do you think the problem's been? How come we haven't been able to attract businesses here?
Well, it's just, you know, from what I understand in the state, and this is Tennessee, you would first market this state because it is run so well. During the pandemic, you know, to have a surplus, that's remarkable to me. And to be able to take care of its citizens, you know, of course the government helps, but the state is well run in the first place. Market the state. Then you come and you market Northeast Tennessee. Just look at everything around us. We're one of the best kept secrets in the country. And this is a beautiful area to locate or relocate to. We have great school systems. It's just a beautiful area of the country, one of the most beautiful areas of the country. And I look at, even for example, Smoky Mountains, that's, you know, it's the most visited park in the country. Why can't we capitalize on those wonderful things to bring people in? But it's just the fact that we have to speak with one voice. And I know there's, you know, a lot of controversy with regionalism and things in the district, but, you know, to have one person you go to for economic development, and then they have Nashville's ear. That's what we need to do, and we don't want to lose our identity, and we're unique in so many ways, each county is, but speaking with one voice and touting this district as a place to come and live or come and relocate your business to, that's what the goal should be for everybody. And I've talked to a number of state representatives and local officials that ultimately that's the goal, Linda.
All right. Regarding health care, let's talk about health care. The Affordable Care Act, what are your thoughts on that? What can we do for this big concern in our country right now, health care?
Well, there's a lot of things. I have a lot of ideas, as a matter of fact, but making health care affordable to where you can pick and choose what you want for yourself or your family. You know, if you look at it and you break it down, it's really simple. You either are for personalized medicine, and that means what you want for you and your family, or you're for socialized medicine, because that's where it's headed. You know, there's a lot of things we can change, and one wonderful thing that Dr. Rowe and many of the other congressmen and women have already told me, I'll be part of the Doctors Caucus. And there's only one pharmacist in Congress right now, and that's Buddy Carter out of Georgia. And to have another pharmacist on board to where we can tackle things like pharmacy benefit managers and make drug pricing transparent, that's going to be huge, especially for our senior population. If you look in our district and all across the nation, we have an aging population. These baby boomers need more and more help. And we have to adjust our healthcare system for that. But you have to use common sense, you know. And one thing I can tell you that the Democrats are very good at, and that is messaging. Everybody knows what Medicare for All is. But when you start talking about health care from the Republican side, the message gets convoluted, and you start talking about pre-existing conditions and all these things, and it ends up being a calculus problem, and people are just, I don't want to hear it, I don't understand, just let me pick a plan. We have to make it simplified, and that's one of the things that I've been talking to people on healthcare policy calls about is how do we message that to where everyone understands they have options. Listen, competition makes everything better, and being able to choose a plan that fits your family and that you can afford is what we need to do. And being with those, being in the doctor's caucus and being able to put my 2 cents worth, even, you know, talking to state representatives today, they're getting ready to overhaul some things in the TennCare system, and I want to be a valid part of that. I want to lend my expertise, not only at a state level, but at a federal level to help with the problem.
I would like to know your thoughts on raising taxes, or taxes in general, and your thoughts on a universal basic income program. I know that's something that's been talked about a lot, and that's a new idea that's been tossed around. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you do not need to raise taxes. You know, I was listening to some statistics the other day, and, you know, state revenues have increased, believe it or not. And, you know, as a business owner, you know, I've spent 33 years as a pharmacist and over 30 years in the business world running different facilities. And I'm telling you, these small business or independent businesses, they need all the tax relief they can get, because when you cut those taxes for them, they're going to take that money that they saved and pour it back into their business. They're going to be able to hire more people. And give them tax incentives, for goodness sakes. It's kind of like talking to the president. You know, I got to meet him, and one of the questions I asked his staff, Peter Navarro, was, tell me what kind of incentives you're going to give to advanced manufacturing or even pharmaceutical manufacturers to get them back into this country. That's how you entice people to grow. What's our incentive if all we do is pay more taxes and keep up everybody and everything? That's not conducive to economic growth. And no, I'm not for that. And no, I'm not for universal based income system either. Where's the incentive to do better and to you know, you as you grow as a business owner, more self-esteem comes into play. And no, I'm not for universal income.
Okay, and I know in our area we don't have an income tax. That's great, but we have a pretty high sales tax, and it just seems to be getting higher, and that's kind of hard when we want to boost the economy. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as you know, and I've talked to different representatives at the state level, you know, and I've talked to different county mayors, and you know, the thing is, the only way they've got, like a gas tax, that's the only thing right now that you can do to improve the road system. And you know, there's a fine line there. Do you want these amenities? Do you want a good road system? Well, it's got to be paid for in some way, shape, or form, but having no state income tax is very conducive to having business come to this state, for one thing. I'm not a fan of raising taxes, and I never will be. And I know we have to have taxes to pay for things, for infrastructures and things like that, so I understand that. So I appreciate, though, that they don't get out of hand. That's all, you know. Absolutely. Let's talk military spending. Do you think we should increase, decrease? What are your thoughts? Well, talking to many people in the military and having, you know, sit down and said, where were we at? Where are we going? And it's kind of like we were on a call the other day, and Newt Gingrich was so gracious with his time. It's like under the Obama administration that the military spending and the military itself was decimated. And so what President Trump has tried to do is build that back up. And we have to be self-reliant. We are with energy now, and we need to be, as Reagan said, you have to have a good military to stave off things that may come from angles you never knew that they would come. But yes, I'm for building up our military. You don't have to be exorbitant, but give those young men and women what they need to protect us from a foreign adversarial nation. All right. Now, the Electoral College. This has been interesting to me, that this has been a hot topic lately. I never dreamed it would be an issue, but it is.
What are your thoughts on whether we should keep it or maybe even possibly get rid of it?
Well, we should never get rid of it, that's a fact. And the bottom line is that was put into place to keep big cities from monopolizing our elected officials and telling us who they wanted to put in office. I'm absolutely for keeping the Electoral College, and abolishing that would be ludicrous. That means that people that are not like-minded, and I'm saying everybody has a democratic right to vote, but good heavens, you know, let's keep this in place and keep it fair, and we'll all have level playing ground if that's stuck in place, and we don't want to abolish that, not any way, shape, or form.
All right, very good. Now, Diana, we have about a minute left. Tell me your final thoughts on what you would like to give the people in this area, your message. What are your last thoughts, and maybe how people can get in touch with you or some contact information?
Absolutely. I just want to know that I'm humbled and honored to be the Republican nominee for U.S. Congress, and I was successful as a woman, not because I was a woman. And I want other young women to know that the conservative woman in politics is alive and well. Don't buy that lie that you can't do something because you've never done it before. And I want this district to be proud of me as a representative, proud that they chose me, and I want to make this, like I said, the model district for the rest of the country to follow suit on.
All right, and give me some contact information.
Yes, ma'am. You can contact us at votediana.com, and we'll be more than happy to get back in touch with you. Leave me any questions or comments, and I'll look forward to meeting you when I'm out on the campaign trail.
Very good. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us with a closer look, and we'll see you back here next week with another edition. Have a great week.